So in this video, I'm going to give you an idea of what to expect when you start violin lessons and also how you can get the most out of your violin lessons once you start them. So understandably, before you start violin lessons, there's a lot of fear of the unknown, right? You don't really know what to expect and how much are you really committing yourself to. There's the cost of time and everything else. But also, once you start violin lessons, you've got to wonder, are you getting your money's worth? Is this teacher a good fit for me? Well, today I'm going to answer those questions as simply and quickly as I possibly can. So one of my previous videos, somebody made a comment on there. They were just kind of discouraged overall. So they'd started violin lessons, but they were feeling kind of directionless. They didn't really know if they were playing something well or not. They weren't feeling like they're getting a lot of feedback from the teacher. And they didn't really know what to do. In fact, they were getting so frustrated, they felt like they wanted to quit. And so that gave me some ideas. I was thinking, there's probably a lot of people in that position. So I'm going to do a video where I can kind of give you guys a really simple list of, what to expect when you start lessons, and also to know, are the lessons working for you or not? Are you wasting your money or not? Now, first of all, there's a lot of different kinds of teachers, right? And there's a lot of different kinds of personalities. So really, to figure out if the teacher is good, you or bad, you're trying to figure out if the teacher is good for you, if the teacher encourages you, if the teacher teaches in a way that you understand, and the teacher motivates you to practice so you can improve. So it really is about the individual relationship that you have with your teacher. But all that being said, there are a few things that you can do right off the bat that's going to guarantee that you're going to have lessons go the way that you want them to go. Okay, so there's two basic things that you want to make sure you do once you start lessons. Okay, so number one is you want to plan out the expectations of your lessons with the teacher. So number one, you got to sit down the first lesson and let them know what your goals are, right? So do you want to play with a community orchestra? Do you want to play in a group that you know of? Is there a book of folk songs or fiddle songs that you want to learn? Do you want to play duets with your kid, with your friends, your family? What exactly? And be as specific as you can. Let them know, here's the goalpost, here's what I'm paying you to help me accomplish. Okay, so the next step of that is you want to make sure that you plan out how to reach those goals. So now, number one, you've told the teacher what your goals are. Number two, now you want to listen to their plan to how to achieve your goals. Now, any good teacher that is worthy of your dollar bills needs to develop a plan for accomplishing your goals. So they're going to say, well, number one, we're going to improve this about maybe you have to play for them first or something like that so they can see what they're working with, right? But after they meet you and they talk about your goals and they see how you're doing what you're doing, they should, say, okay, we need to work on this and we need to work on this. So this is weak and this is strong. So here's how we're going to strengthen, your weak parts, and we're all going to bring it together so you're going to be able to accomplish your goals. So there's got to be a clear plan. Okay, so the third thing is you want to make sure you develop a rough timeline. Now, obviously, you don't have a crystal ball and neither does a teacher, but you want to find out what the teacher's expectations are as far as how much to practice. So let's say you're going to commit to a half an hour a day, 5 days a week, or an hour a day, 5 days a week, or 7 days a week, or 3 days a week, or whatever it is, right? So you tell them, this is how much I'm committing to practice, and then they know, okay, based off how much they're going to practice, where they are and where they want to be, here's a rough timeline for how long it might take you to reach, some of the milestones of your goal, right? So that's good. Say, well, where am I going to be in 6 months? Well, where am I going to be in a year? Okay, so it's really good to have these little milestones set up, and this way, the teacher really knows that they're under the gun as well, right? Because you've both talked about what your goals are, you've both talked about what the plan is to get there, and there's an expectation of time, and there's an expectation of your commitment. So these things are very important to do right at the beginning of the lesson. Now, if you have a teacher that's unwilling or uninterested in doing these things, well, it might be time to walk, right? But these are crucial components as an adult learner. You want to make sure you set this framework right from the beginning. Okay, so the second part of your overall plan is once the violin lessons have started, now you have to ask yourself, is it a good fit with this teacher? So I think you can accomplish the answer to that question, answering that question, in really 4 ways, okay? So number one, am I improving? right? So after about 3 or 4 lessons, right, and you probably about a month of lessons, let's say you have, assuming you haven't missed any lessons or whatever. So after about 3 or 4 lessons, you should start to see a marked improvement in what you're doing, right? So if you're trying to get better as a sight reader, you're better at sight reading, or you're better understanding meter or time signatures or reading notes, or maybe you're having a hard time with your bow. After about a month, you should definitely see more improvement with your bow. Let's say it's your intonation. You should definitely see an improvement in intonation. So at least one area that you're really focused on should definitely be improved after 3 or 4 lessons. Okay, so number 2 is, do you feel motivated to practice after a lesson? Okay, so if you're going to your lesson and you're, it's negative, you're frustrated, you don't like your teacher, or, lessons shouldn't necessarily be easy. I mean, you have to be challenged in your lesson, right? The teacher has to challenge you to do things that are difficult and help you overcome those challenges. But at the end of the lesson, you should feel energized. You should feel motivated. You should feel encouraged to get home and to get to practicing, because you just can't wait to take it to that next level. Why? Because you know how to, because you had a lesson, they showed you what you needed to do, and now you just got to do it to achieve that next level. Okay, so number 3, is the teacher engaged during the lesson? Okay, so do you have a teacher that's really paying attention to what's going on? Are they just, sitting in a chair, kind of nonchalantly, passively looking off into the distance and making some kind of subtle remarks about, oh, that was good, or that was bad, or, oh, just do that again? No, you want somebody who's actively engaged. They're paying attention to what's going on. They're listening intently. They're giving you some advice. They're showing you exactly what you need to do to improve it. They're an integral part of the lesson, and they're actively engaged. There's a lot of teachers, music teachers, who, they're just teaching for a buck, and they're not particularly interested or engaged in what you're doing, and it's just, they're paying rent, whatever. So you want somebody actually who's personally motivated and engaged in what your lesson, what's going on in your lesson, and is really a part of the process of you improving every lesson. Okay, and the 4th thing is, you want a teacher that plays in your lesson, okay? The easiest way for any human being to learn, by and large, is to just see what's good. So let's say there's a piece of music and you're not exactly sure what it should sound like, or what does the rhythm sound like, or what is the articulation, or what is the pitch, or whatever, right? The easiest way for you to learn is by modeling, is by the teacher just doing it. So if your teacher is unwilling or unable to model the music for you, well, that might be a huge indicator that you might want to take your dollar bills somewhere else. You may want to take your time somewhere else. You want a teacher who's able to model the stuff for you, to show you perhaps what you're doing wrong, to show you how to do it the right way, to show you little tricks that you can use to make it easier to learn. Somebody who can show you how to practice. That's really important. So make sure your teacher can model stuff for you. If they can do that, then that's just going to, regardless of a lot of other criteria, that's really going to make learning a lot easier for you. So guys, I hope this video was helpful. And if you have any questions, please put them down in the description below. I answer pretty much all the questions that I get. And a lot of people have a lot of questions on the subject matter, I think. So, it's only my opinion. I've taught for many years. Of course, I took lessons for many years. So I have some insight, and I don't want you guys to waste your money or time. So, hey, let me know if you have any questions. DM me, email me as well. And so with that, I guess that's the end of another video. I hope you guys have a nice rest of the week, and happy practicing.